So you want to build a trash can. Let's get into it. It's really not that difficult. There's a couple of different ways to do it. I will go through the first one I'll go through is the one that I like the most. And then I'll also go through the design of the clock for a couple other different methods. Your mileage may vary on which ones you like the best. You know, maybe you don't like the sound of the piston going off, which is the one that I like. I like the piston sound a lot because that really, it tells me that it's working. You know, it's an automatic audio cue. So let's get into it. What you're going to need, you're at the core of the build. What you're going to need is a trap chest, a dropper, and a hopper. That's the main things, right? And then from there, the dropper needs to go into something that's going to delete the items. That can either be a bucket of lava or it can be a block of cactus. Obviously, if you use a cactus, you're going to have to do sand, and you have to be a little careful with placement because nothing can be adjacent to a cactus. Otherwise, it pops off the sand. So let's get into how we put this together. Obviously, I'm in my hardcore survival world, so I'll be doing this in survival. So first, you want to pick where you want your chest. I'm going to put mine right here. This is my newly installed storage area in my base. So I'm going to put a trash can back here. Now, if you use a regular chest, it's not as safe. If you use a trap chest, while it's open, the hopper is locked. So let's go down here and put this hopper on, right? So the hopper's empty right now, right? When you have the chest open, you can put items in and it just sits there. It waits until you close the chest. Once you close the chest is when the items start flowing down. When the chest is open, the hopper's locked. That's not the case with a regular chest. You probably know this, but let's go ahead and outline this as well. Why not, right? A little bouncy there. Sorry about that. Let's grab a hopper. Poke back down here in my test area. So instead, we're going to put a chest down. Let's just put it right back here. And then we're going to put a hopper underneath that. Now this one, the moment we put the items in, they start deleting. They would start, going straight into your delete system. So you have to be really careful about what you put in. If you misclick, oh, I put my redstone in there. I don't want my redstone deleted. If you do it in this one with a regular chest, it's gone. So that's why I like to use the trap chest method so that you have that little bit of extra added safety. And then once you get that installed, now you're looking at where your dropper, right? Where do you want your dropper to delete your items? This can be any number of directions. I often will pick straight down, especially if I'm using lava. So we're going to do that today for me. We're just going to go here, dropper. Nope. Let's go one more down. That'll make it easy. Let's go dropper. And then we're going to go a bucket of lava. And I'm far enough down from my base because I have wood floors, but I'm far enough down that the lava won't burn anything. So now the dropper is pointed into lava. So anytime this dropper activates, it's going to spit that item straight into lava, deleting the item, obviously. So how do we get that to activate? Like I said, my favorite way. So we take a comparator. You take a repeater. The repeater needs to be on 3 ticks, right? That's clicking it twice. And the reason for that is we're going to use, let's see, there we go. We are going to use a hopper or a observer clock. So we want 2 observers looking at each other. Uh-oh, I need to get through there. We'll go ahead and get this out of the way. And this is going to be a tricky one to get in there. So you see it's lighting up, and we can hear it if we go, where's the, oh no, never mind. I'm a little off. So we'll have the observers looking into each other, like I said, and then that has to go into a solid block right next to the dropper. So still see the dropper still has that one piece of dirt in it. And now it's clicking. You can hear the click. And now I'm going to turn the volumes down so that we don't hear that while we're building here. So now we need the sticky piston in place up here so that it will grab the observer and pull it back. That, and we need that. And then we need it to activate. There we go. So now, if we wanted to delete items, let's find something that I actually want to delete. Rotten flesh. Rotten flesh is a good one. You can use rotten flesh, obviously, for a lot of things, but we are not. So let's, I think I want, yeah. So let's say we're going to delete the rotten flesh. We throw it in the chest, right? Oops, we put our redstone in the chest. No big deal. Just make sure to grab it before you close the chest. Once you close the chest, you see everything turns on, and that rotten flesh is gone. It's that quick. That's the reason I like this one a lot, is the observer clock a lot, is because the items, when it deletes them, is very fast. Let's go with 26 of these saplings. I don't need saplings right now. So we put, I'm going to turn up the volume, right? So we put the 26 saplings in, close the chest. Oh, you see how the observer's doing the thing, or the piston's doing the thing where it's on and off, on and off? That's because I didn't have the ticks set long enough. It's full 4 ticks to get it to not do that stupid thing. So watch, we'll get rid of a little bit of stone. So at 4 ticks, it just stays on. So there you go. Now, what other designs? There are other options for the clock. So the one I see everybody else using is what's called a comparator clock. Basically, you have your dropper just like the others, right? Just like mine. I say mine. I learned that from somebody else years ago. I can't even remember where I saw it, but I just remember how to build it in my head. The observers really, the observer clock really makes it easy for me, because 2 observers looking at each other makes a clock is an easy thing for me to remember. But this clock is not as easy for me to remember how to make. So you take the comparator out, right? That's easy enough. You take a repeater, also easy. And then from there, you're just lining dust around the outside. And then the one last thing is you need a block and a repeater. So there you go. And that functions very well. And maybe you only have, maybe you don't have a tall bit where, I guess I didn't need anything tall, but maybe you didn't want a piston. Like I said, maybe you don't want the piston noise. The only thing I will say is this one is a lot slower. That's one of the reasons I don't like it. It takes a lot of time for it to get moving. And that's the two main designs of a clock that really work well with the trash can. There are some other ways we can build it. One of the ways that I've used in the past, say I couldn't find a trap chest. Maybe I couldn't find string, but I really wanted to make my trash can. You can use a lever just as easily as you can automation. So let's say in this case, you have a wall, right? And you want your chest to go in the wall. And you have to put a stair or some other type of transparent block above it. But, that way you have your chest in the wall. But you don't have the materials to make a trap chest. Or you don't have the materials to make a whole bunch of, maybe you don't have a lot of redstone. Maybe you don't have the repeaters. Whatever it may be, you can hook it up this way with a lever. And this would be your floor in this case, right? We have a floor there. We'll just go ahead and put a little stair step up to that so we can mimic, right? And you have your little floor and you have a little lever. And you just dump your unwanteds into there. They dump straight in, but nothing's getting lost yet. They're just dumping into the dropper. They just dump right in the dropper, and nothing happens until you hit the lever. But then when you hit the lever, there goes all your items. And you can hear the difference in tone when a dropper is actually spitting something out and when it's not. So like, listen closely. You hear that change? That change in tone tells you that it's spitting and it's not really spitting anything out. You can also see it in your subtitles if you have those on. If you look on my screen to the right and the bottom, right over here, you can see the dispenser dispenses item, but then dispenser failed. When it starts saying failed, that means that it's empty. So yeah, that's another way you can do a trash can. And obviously you'd want your dropper pointing into either, like I said before, a cactus or a bucket of lava. Well, not a bucket of lava, a lava block. So that's a trash can. That's a couple of different ways to build it. And yeah, put them in your world. It's really handy to have. There's always something. There's always some kind of junk in your inventory that you just need to get rid of. Might as well trash it. Thanks for watching. This is Golden Demon Tutorials. Bye.